Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Jode Halima Ball, and some of you may already know me for writing my memoir, Growing Up an American Muslim Army Brat. So right now, my book is in the process of being published. It has not yet been published, but I'm going to start blogging and vlogging so that people can get to know me better as a person and stuff like that. So now I decided to write this book, Growing Up an American Muslim Army Brat. And 2 weeks ago, or like 1 week ago, I can't really remember, I asked people to post a question that they have for me that I can put on my author's website, which is in the process right now. And one of the questions that somebody asked me is, what inspired you to write this book? Which is a very good question, because a lot of people may want to know, like, what is the reason why Jode wants to write a book about her life growing up a Muslim Army brat? Okay, so while I was younger, a child and a teenager, I grew up on varying military bases as an United States Army brat due to my dad's military career, which started in 1992. I was born 1994. So that means that whenever my dad had to move, my entire family moved, which kind of directly impacted me. And this is all because part of my dad's job is to protect the United States of America, and he's a Muslim. So now when I started getting into an age where I can kind of like know my surroundings and understand what is going around me, which is like the age of 4, about the age of 4, I started to realize very fast that my life was dependent on my dad's career. So several times throughout my childhood and teenage years, I moved to different military bases, and I lost like friends in the process. Not that I lost friends because of, you know, any type of problems or anything like that, but when you move to another base, you can't take your friends with you. So that's a fact. And when I moved to another base, that means I have to go to a different school, and every state has their own education requirements. So if I'm living in one state where the state exam requires certain like points that you have to learn in the year, and then in the middle of a grade year I move to a different school, then that state or that country that I'm living in requires a different educational requirement. So many times I found myself struggling in school when I moved to a different place because I was lost in the education system. I didn't get to have a childhood friend like many people knew. Like many people that I know personally, they have a childhood best friend that became like their brother or sister. So they're like siblings. And I didn't have that. And then also my dad, since he's in the military, he'll leave 6 months increments. So at 6 months at a time, he'll be at war. And I'm just at home with my mom, who will be taking care of me and my siblings. Okay. So now, that's where some of the inspiration comes from. It's like my neighborhoods were never stable, my education was never stable, my friendships were never stable, and basically as an Army brat, you feel the effects of the war. So if I'm living in a neighborhood with a lot of other like military members, whatever the other people are experiencing, I see that. So some of the spouses and other children who lived on these bases, they had a hard time with their family members being at war and stuff like that. And I'll explain that into detail in my book, so you won't see that right now, because obviously the book is about my whole life, And that is where the next part comes. So now, what does that mean for me today as an adult? Today as an adult, I am no longer an Army brat. But I am living the Post Army Brat Nightmare. So what does that mean? How could you live a Post Army Brat Nightmare? What the heck does that mean? Okay, I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I belong in the world. So if I lived outside the United States for like probably 5 years of my life or 4 years of my life, and then I lived in different parts of the United States, and then I have one parent who's from Africa. So my mom is from Sierra Leone, and she's actually from the Fulani cultural group. So the Fulani cultural group is a group of nomad in Africa who raise cattle. So they travel to wherever the grass is green, wherever the cattle have good food, and they live around the cattle. So whatever they're eating is based off of that. So I come kind of from a diverse background because my mom is a Fulani African. And then my dad, he was born and raised as a Southern Baptist Christian in Virginia, but he converted to Islam in 1993. But most of the time, people don't want to connect me to the American side of me, which is my paternal family, my dad's side. When people see me, I'm brown, I got a hijab on. This girl's African straight up. If I say that my dad is from Virginia, oh, okay, so what's your mom, from Sierra Leone? And I'm like, yeah, my mom's from Sierra Leone. So they prefer to give me that title that I am a Sierra Leonean, even though I don't know nothing about Sierra Leone. I only went there like a couple of weeks, so you know. But anyway, so that Post Army Brat Nightmare is from not knowing where I'm from in the world. Now, the inspiration came from all the difficulties that I face today while I'm out and about. So I've met people who verbally attacked me, physically attacked me, did all type of stuff, treat me very, very bad, like I'm a gum on the piece of the bottom of their shoe, just because I am a Muslim woman and because they could clearly see that with my hijab. And then I go home, I feel sad, I cry about it, you know, I feel bad because I'm like, you know, I'm just trying to go about my day just like everybody else, but because of the stereotype that Muslims or all Muslims are terrorists or something like that, I get the impact of that. And people don't know that despite them treating me bad, when I was younger, I was an Army brat because of my dad serving in the United States Army. So after several times of being treated so badly by people in the street, people in school, people at work, just, you know, everywhere, one day I decided to go into the pharmacy. So I went into a local Rite Aid, bought a thick book, like it was like this thick or so, and it had like college ruled lines, and I just started writing out my story. And in the beginning I was writing out my story like while I was crying, but then through the ending I was like, nah, I'm writing this story because I want to make a difference, because I want to let people know that there are Americans that are Muslim and we're no different from you. We feel that same impact that other people feel, you know? So I decided I want to write that story, letting people know that Muslim and American are not opposite from each other. Even though that the ideas seem to clash, they could be one. because there are many Americans who have adopted Islam as their belief system and religion. So now that's where my inspiration for writing this book came. It came from all that discrimination that I faced. So now you see me today wearing the hijab, and I'm talking to you on the cam. I started wearing the hijab 2014. So around the spring of 2014, I was researching Islam deeply. Like, I was researching Islam, reading the Quran, reading the Bible. I was trying to find the Torah, and then I found out that the Torah is handwritten in a special way, and it's not really possible to purchase a Torah like that. So I just researched and researched, and then I found out, I was like, the hijab is part of the Abrahamic faith, because that's what we call Islam. Islam is like a root of the Abrahamic faith. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start wearing this hijab, because now I am very scared of what's gonna happen to me on the day of judgment, because I truly believe that Islam is the true religion. Okay, so now I'm wearing the hijab from 2014 all the way up until present. It's about to be 2019 in a couple of years, so that's gonna, in the spring of 2019, that's gonna be my hijab versary. I guess I'm gonna call it the hijab versary. And despite whatever people have done to me and said to me, I wore the hijab, but I want to make people know, or let people know, that there are people living in the United States who could have had a background like me, be Muslim, and very much be American like them. So I'm gonna start putting up some videos on some of my various sites. So right now I have a Instagram, a Twitter, Snapchat, the Facebook public figure page, and I'm also working on my author's website, and also some other sites. And I'm gonna start putting up my videos and blogs about myself. So you're gonna see much more from me, and I look forward into discussing further about myself and the book. So keep connected with me, and inshallah you hear from me. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.